Welcome, everyone. Make sure, board members, you all have your microphones on so we can hear you. Taking roll call tonight, Mr. Daniels is excused tonight. He has a meeting in Ohio, so he won't be here. And Mary Beth is running a little bit late, so she should be here, she said, probably about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so Daniel, approval of the agenda before you. Have any additions or deletions? Okay, agenda stands. Let's just take a vote on this since we have some people that are absent. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Agenda is put forward. Tonight we have a presentation tonight from our auditing firm, Gaybridge and Company. We've got Neil Hambacher here tonight. So at this time we're going to let you take it away.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Hannah for the presentation. This is our first year of our engagement with the township. We were contracted for to do an annual audit. Was it a 3-year or a 5-year engagement? Three-year engagement. Okay. First question on there, why have an audit? Well, the state of Michigan requires that if you have a population greater than 4,000, they say you have to have an audit. So we follow those rules. What is an audit? It's not an assessment of your economic well-being. It's an opinion on financial statements that follow the opinion. Reasonable assurance. We don't look at every single transaction when we do an audit. We do a sample, so it's reasonable. And then we're looking for material misstatements. We don't want to have any. So if you're looking for what's material on cash, if you're off $100, that's not material. If you're off $200,000, that's material. So we want to make sure there's no material misstatements. The audit report itself, is your presentation unique? No, the government auditing or accounting standards and the state of Michigan, they want a uniform format. So your audit looks like every other governmental entity out there. The format are the 6 things listed below. The auditor's report on page 1, if you can turn to that, please. The first paragraph, they list your responsibilities and our responsibilities, and we're required to give an opinion on the financial statement. That's the most important thing that we do. You can do everything 2 through 6 and prepare your own financial statements. We do that as a service, but the piece you're really looking for is the opinion on the audit, and it's an unmodified opinion. That means there's nothing that needs to be changed. If there was something, then we'd have to modify it. So it's a clean opinion. So if anyone says, how'd your audit go? We got a clean opinion. Okay. Page 13 and 14, that's the big picture, statement of net asset or net position and statement of activities. This gives an overall look at the government, and they answer those questions 1 through 4 and 1 through 5 on the page there. There's certain things that we're required to communicate. They're listed there, 7 things. In the back of the audit, there's a report that talks about all these things. The engagement went very smooth for our first year, went exceptional. We couldn't have been happier with that. So, how many audit adjustments? There were 4 in the general fund and 2 in the water and sewer fund. Typically, for a government this size, we have 15 to 20. So Kim does a very nice job. You're getting good interim financial information throughout the year. State of Michigan, when we submit the audit to the state, we have to complete what's known as the auditing procedures report. And these are the things the state of Michigan really wants to know. In fact, I doubt if they even read the audit report. They read this procedures report. And the only thing that we have to answer no to on this is item number 3. You had expenditures that were in excess of your budget. Your budget for the general fund is a legal requirement, and you're bound to stay underneath it. When you don't, we have to report it in the audit. And that comment that we make is the very last page of the audit of the budget, overspending it. So I think I bring that out most times, you don't get that in the presentation, but those are the things the state of Michigan really wants you to do a good job at. Observations and findings. The government overall has a current ratio of 8.34. That's taking your current assets divided by your current liabilities. It's very healthy. 2 to 2.5 is considered healthy, so you're in a very strong financial position. General funds fund balance, 158% of annualized expenditures. Take fund balance divided by your current year expenditures gives you that ratio. The Government Finance Officers Association says for a governmental type fund, they want that at 17% minimum. You're at 158, so you're in a very strong position. We talked about number 3. Number 4, the current tax account. The state of Michigan wants to see that at the end of March down to an interest amount, either your $100 or $1,000 or whatever it is. You had a little bit more than that. You want to make a very good effort to get that cleaned out by March 31st. Implement a capital improvement plan. When we're here, we made an inquiry about that. That's just a 5-year projection. What do you want to do? What do you want to buy? What do we want to do with roads? 5 years, just it helps you be transparent and communicate to your residents what you would like to do. And that feeds into your 5-year financial plan where you focus on your fund balance. Number 7, there's an organization out there called Metrics. They have a website out there. They have financials for every government and ratios and all kinds of things. So you can compare yourself against every township in Washtenaw County to see how you stack up against every other community. So some good information in there. The Government Finance Officers Association is a great source for ideas. They got a website out there, lots of training programs. You do excellent work, and then I forget the deputy treasurer's name. Janice, great work. If you want to take it to the next level, there's some very good ideas out there. And keep up the very good work. Any questions on the statements themselves?
Explain again what the benefits of a capital improvement plan would be.
Well, capital is, usually you have a policy of what your threshold is. Lots of times it's $5,000. So if you're looking at a fire truck, if you're looking at doing roads, you just want to see some visibility of what's going on out there, what we want to do for the next 5 years.
Would you call it a long, would you say 5 years is short term or long term?
Long term.
5 years.
And that's typical for capital improvement plans.
Okay.
So that would be the 5-year financial plan, which would feed into your annual budget. You'd be constantly updating.
In your experience, do a lot of municipal governments, where do they get that information? Like, does a committee be formed to?
Yeah, I've been on a committee when I was in the government. We had the township supervisor, we had the fire chief, we had the DPW director. Sometimes the clerk sat in, sometimes the treasurer sat in.
Good, thanks.
Is that the requirement that's mandated by the state today? Or is that
To my
just-
knowledge, no, it's just a good best practice.
I know, Mr. Supervisor, a few years ago, we did undertake a capital improvement plan, and we tasked our planning commission to help facilitate that. And I think with the transition of our new board and the changes in composition, not only of this body, but the planning commission as well, that may have been an oversight in keeping the baton going. But really, the only major investment that we had planned for the last few years was our fire truck showed up, our subsequent investment in the Fort Tracks property this year. Again, it's a good, I think, tool What, just out of curiosity, what were the adjustments that did have to be made?
I didn't finish up the audit report itself. I know the big one was, you had a 3-year commitment on Territorial Road. Right, we had to approve that, so that was $700,000. So that was a decent adjustment, so. That was by far the biggest.
And there was a 17,000, wasn't there, what was that on the back, some property?
There's a
Something
very
happened.
old receivable in the books.
Right,
that, I think
that we need to try to collect.
Right. But it had been there for a number of years.
Right.
There were no collection efforts, so.
Okay, anything else?
Thank you very much.
Neil, thank you very much. We appreciate, it was nice meeting your crew while they were here during the process, and we appreciate your service. Very good. Thanks for coming.
Great job.
Okay, down to public comment. Mr. Self.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, I just want to thank you and the rest of the board members for your fast response and getting the road spray painted the lines on 7 Mile between Hebron and Curry.
Did they finish it off?
They finished it up, yes.
Just, because the last time I had called, they said the yellow lines,
They're done.
they're done. Okay, well, that's good.
Okay.
Thanks, Bud. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been to the last couple meetings, but maybe you've already touched on this. I just, in the newsletter, you talk about the referendum being shot down by Judge Shelton because we were late filing the referendum. How late were we? A day?
Let me address that,
Go ahead.
Mr. Supervisor. First of all, it wasn't the township that was late, it was the petitioners that were late in filing the petitions.
Well, yeah, I said
I
late, but yeah.
want to clarify that. And actually, the petitions were due to be filed within
30 days.
30 days after March 20th, or May 20th. And they weren't filed until sometime in July, so they were substantially late.
And I assume that's going to have an impact on what's going to happen there? Or not necessarily?
Well, not necessarily. We're talking about the centerpiece, correct?
The 91 acres.
91 acres. Well, as you know, when the new board came in, we went through the process of rezoning it to ROPs, which manages the master plan. So that's where it's at right now. I believe, I haven't seen the papers on it, but I believe the clients have appealed the judge's decision, and so that's kind of keeping it going on their end.
I just want to say something about the capital improvement plan. It is my understanding, and maybe Ed can answer that, but when we were on the board, I had gone to an MTA seminar on capital improvement plan, and they said we were required to have a capital improvement plan because of our sewer treatment plant. Other than that, we wouldn't have to have one, but because of that, that's why we have it. At least that's what they said at this conference. Now, things may have changed since I went to that, but it's, it's a lot of work if you don't have to do it,
Right.
So I don't understand how it could, he said that we don't have to have it, unless he doesn't know we have a sewer treatment plant.
He would.
I would think he would know.
Yeah, he's done all this work on it, so I haven't.
So it's something to find
All
out.
right. All right, Pat?
I just wanted to say they stone chipped 7 Mile between Angle and Pontiac Trail. And in the process, they finished that section that they did not do last year.
Right.
So that was
Right.
good. Thank you.
At least we get some progress, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. All right, let's move on down to the consent agenda. Mr. Wesley.
Before I make the motion here, I just wanted to thank all of As you know, I'm the clerk in charge of elections, and we had our big primary election on August the 5th. And just to keep it short, I want to thank everyone who was involved in, as an election inspector this year, making it go very smoothly. So we had a low turnout, less than 20%, but we had a lot of great individuals who helped us out, a lot of new people that helped us out, so we thank you. And as you know, the general election will be coming up here in a few months, so we look forward to having everyone participate again in voting. So thank you. I move that Salem Township approve the following consent agenda items. The minutes of the July 8th, 2014 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. B, the disbursements for July of 2014, they include the general fund check roster of $69,974.81. These are checks 24,790 through 24,840. Escrow fund disbursements of $4,036, checks 1559 through 1562. We had a payroll of July of $47,099.79. Including with that was the electronic funds transfer through Paycor of $182.50. Disbursements for the sewer fund includes $5,699.05. Includes checks in 1926 and 1927. The invoices for August for the general fund will be $459,060.85. The big one will be the roads, the $350,000 in the road, which causes that to be so high. The sewer fund of $6,597.35, and the escrow invoices for $7,692. Do we have a second?
I had a question
Sure.
about the minutes from last month. Under business items, public safety, section A, and it's point number 2. It says that there was a motion to approve the purchase of a new command vehicle for the fire department, and stuff like that. And I was wondering, wasn't that really just an approval to go out for bid?
Yeah, we should probably put down approve the RFP for the purchase.
Because we didn't approve a purchase.
Right, we approved the request for proposal. And matter of fact, I'll go ahead and make the amendment to public business item A, public safety number 1 for the fire tanker pumper. We should put the RFP, approve the RFP for the purchase of.
Right.
So I'll put that in both of them. So thank you.
Good question. Did you misspeak, or did you change the numbers from this agenda? Because you said the general fund was 459,000. Is it 458?
We have 458.
Did I say 459?
Yes, you did.
All right, so general fund, I must have been, there's so many numbers there.
I don't know. And the next one, on the next line too, you said 35 cents instead of 73 cents. I'm okay
Wow.
with that one.
Okay, well, let me repeat it again, just so the tape has it. General fund of $458,060.85. We have the sewer fund of $6,597.73, and the escrow of $7,692.
Thank
We'll
you.
go with that. Thank you for keeping me in line. So now that we've made 2 changes on the last month's minutes, is there anything else, or do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
discussion?
Just-
You're right.
Yep.
I just wanted to clarify from Mrs. Schmidt's inquiry on RFP versus actual purchase. On item number 2,
Yeah, you're right.
we did actually approve
The
the
purchase.
acquisition of a new command vehicle.
Yeah, but I thought it was the fire truck.
So, number 1 is the fire truck, put it out for bid, approval.
Right.
David's right, though. Number 2 was to approve the purchase, so we need to strike that.
Right, but one is right. One needs to be changed.
Yes.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, so back to the minutes now. So what we will do is just add in public safety, number 1, RFP, fire truck tanker pumper. We'll put the words RFP right before the word purchase. So RFP of the purchase of a new tanker. So that'll be the only change to the minutes.
I'll second that, Mr. Supervisor.
All right, Mr. Trent seconds. Any other discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is passed. All right, next item is, down here is the Salem Corn Fest, which is this weekend, I believe, at the Salem Bible Church. Mr. Trent? You're on.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that Salem Township approve the request of the Salem Bible Church to close McFadden Street on Saturday, August 16, 2014, for the 19th Annual Salem Community Corn Fest between the hours of 10:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. With the clerk to forward the necessary paperwork to the Washington County Road Commission for Resolution 2014-08-12-01 regarding the temporary road closure of McFadden Street.
You have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Bill Congress seconds. Any other discussion on this?
Mr. Supervisor, just a quick comment to Mr. Wensley, and because of the timing of this request, we're, in reality, we would have preferred to have seen this a month ago, but because it's just coming in this week for our board meeting, and because the road commission is closed on Fridays now, your handiwork needs to be done post haste, Mr. Wensley, tomorrow, so that the church can pick up that permit on Thursday, and they have, they're ready to process that upon receipt of the paperwork. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's passed. Down to advanced disposal. I move that Salem Township, the request of advanced disposal to move the approximately 200,000 cubic yards of solid material across 6 Mile Road. Their proposal is to perform this work at night so that the material can be moved with minimal traffic on 6 Mile Road. The soil stockpile area will be directly across from the landfill office, eastward towards Napier Road, and to begin this work, we'll be starting August the 18th. Have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, just a little bit further discussion on this. This is the new the 2 cells that they've expanded. The one that they already have I believe they are filling in already. The other cell would be towards the east of the property, kind of like where the scales are, is where the second cell is. They'll be removing dirt from there, hauling it across the 6 Mile, north side of 6 Mile, to have nowhere to stockpile it on this side. So they'll be stockpiling across the street. Then when the landfill is full on that side, then they will be bringing the dirt back to cap it off. So that's why they're doing it they're doing it at night. I believe when they did the other cell up front, there was some problems during the day with closing down traffic. Some people were complaining about this, so now they decided to do it at night, not to have so many problems because of traffic.
What would be the hours that they do, like when would they end?
They're saying how long? They say they're doing it during the night. Now, there's no residents right up in that corner there that would really be affected by it. So they are aware of it. If it's a problem with noise or we get some complaints, they will figure out how to, they've given us that verbal word that they would, address the problem if there is a problem.
Was there a projected time frame for how long this
They
project?
said about a month and a half.
Month and a half, 6 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of doors per reason.
Some people have said too, I don't know if some people know, it's now, would that be the cell, or that they're gonna be digging out, would that be part of the old landfill? I mean, that's kind of what I think it's, where it is, the old landfill.
Are they getting rid of the composting section? Is that where it's gonna go?
It's gonna go over there, yeah, that's where they have the room to put it.
Is this part of their, conditional use permit that they have? Wouldn't this have to go to the planning commission for conditions like this?
I don't believe, because they got the approval, I mean, from the past, to create these cells, to extend the landfill, so it's been
So
approved.
they haven't approved.
They do have an approved permit from the DEQ that they just got passed about, I saw something come through about 6 months or a year ago where they were building all this stuff, so they got everything approved by the state. We don't actually do any permitting through our township with them.
Oh, but they still have
Yeah.
some sort
Well, I believe they came to extend it, or expand it. Okay, any other discussion? Do we have a second on this?
Yes, I do.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. All right, Mr. Converse.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that Salem Township Board approve the following appointment to the Salem Township Land Preservation and Conservation Board for a 2-year term beginning 8/1/2014 and ending 7/31/2016. Gary Whitaker, Board Liaison, and Sue Beaton.
Have a second on that?
I'll second.
Everybody? Okay, any discussions? No comments? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion's passed. Okay. For Logic and Incorporated contract, Mr. Converse, are you handling that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, in the past, back in 2001, the board passed a motion to approve an enhanced access policy, and the rates were set to charge CoreLogic 32 cents per parcel and $15 filing fee, and those fees have been changed to now 40 cents. And it was in our agreement with legal counsel, we should enter into a contract with them stating the new rates. And what we're doing is we're asking her approval for this contract rather than just going out and asking them to sign it. It's a regular process that they have in the past. So I recommend that, make a motion that we approve this contract authorizing the township to charge 40 cents per parcel of the $15 processing fee for the election, or for the tax seasons each year.
Support. Mr. Trent, support. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion's passed. Okay, we're down to Jim.
Can you explain to the rest of us back here what CoreLogic does for this money?
They request this information, and if I could probably be so bold as this, they're data mining. What they do is they take this data and they basically go on the open market and sell this data. Every township gets the request for it. I've done an extensive research into all the different townships within the county, and we all have varying rates. And it's just something that they come back in and they have a legal right to do, so.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, down to the next item, the Conant property. I'm gonna put a motion on here. I move that Salem Township waiver the right of I move that Salem Township waiver of the right to determine of the open space development rights easement on the Conant property located at 5671 and 5683 Napier Road pursuant to the Open Space Certification Act. This is, the Conant family had come to us, I don't know, honestly, it's been 3 months now. And we've showed it to our planner and also the attorney to, there was an agreement made to preserve that piece, which is in the USD area, which is Napier Road, just be south of M14 along there. You see the old farmhouse, and I don't know if most of you knew Herb or Olive Conant, just a wonderful family in Salem, have been here for years. And they had preserved their property, and they came into an agreement, from what I understood, with Salem to preserve that also with the state. And they are wanting to sell their property, have the rights on there, but the agreement with the township is that there was actually no farming on the easement. Am I saying this right, Ed? Saying that there's no farming allowed, and they want to advertise it as they're selling it, that to be able to farm it. Well, I think that's, most of it, it just makes sense that the property would be farmed. So they've asked us to terminate our agreement with them, and the state really has the final say on a lot of it. So anyway, Ed, I'll let you explain a little bit more to it.
Yeah, that was the perfect explanation leading up to that. This was an easement under the Farmland and Open Space Preservation Act. It was a little unusual. It was kind of developed under a subsection of the statute that apparently isn't used a lot. So this easement, unlike others, according to the state, does restrict farming on the property. It also prohibits the sale except for sale for utility purposes and some other limited purposes. So the Conants obviously want to release that easement. There's a process under the statute whereby they can come to the township first and request the township to review it, and the township can either approve or deny it. And there's a whole process that has to be gone through, a number of factors have to be considered. But in the end, it's the state who has the right to say yes or no to whether or not that easement's going to be relinquished. So what I recommend to the board is that we simply, under the statute, waive our right to give that consideration, leave it up to the state to decide if they're going to relinquish the easement or not, because they have the ultimate decision anyway. This kind of shortens the process, leaves it up to the state, and takes it out of our hands. So what you're being asked to approve is basically a notice that will go to the Michigan Department of Agriculture telling them the township has waived its right to consider relinquishing the easement, and giving them sole authority to make that determination.
Ed, is it your opinion that like if we say no, we want to have a say so in this? If we disagree with the state, does the state get its way anyway?
Well, there's an appeal process, right? If we said no, we're not going to approve this, there's a right under the statute to appeal to the state, and the state can still say yes. Conversely, if we say yes, you can go to the state, and the state can still say no. So like I said, ultimately the decision lies with the state of Michigan. it's really the statute just gives the township a chance to voice our opinion if we want to have an opinion on the matter. What we're doing in this case is saying we're leaving it up to the state to decide.
Any other questions? Yeah?
Does this raise a bigger question with regards to the open space, I should say, with the properties that we have purchased, or this, like to the green belt on land preservation? Is this kind of the way that farmers can get out of that kind of an agreement, or is there a connection here?
No, this is a particular type of easement, I say granted under this particular act. And the problem with this property is it's kind of right in the middle of our USD that we have pursuant to our master plan is zoned for commercial development anyway. So it's really to the township's benefit to have this easement taken off. There's also a private easement on the property that's going to have to be addressed at some point because of where this property is located in the USD. But we'll take it one step at a time.
Dan?
Two questions. One, when you mentioned the state, which entity in the state actually has oversight for this particular issue? Is it the Southeast Land Conservancy that I see noted in some letters that the Washoe County Historic Group has passed on to the township in years past?
No, that's the separate private easement that exists on the property. The authority from the state that would be dealing with this particular easement would be the Michigan Department of Agriculture. And this particular farmland preservation agency is very limited at this point. I'm not sure how quickly they'll be able to take action. I've tried to call there a couple times, and you get a recording saying we apologize, but our staff has been reduced from like 10 to 2, and leave a message and we'll call you back whenever we get around to it. So it's a very, it's a program that was ongoing for 20 years ago, but it's kind of faded away, and because of that, the state agency that oversaw this program has also been diminished, and there's only a couple people now that still handle this.
To what degree, if any, do you know the jurisdiction of the Washoe County Historic District Commission and its role in designating this historic place that the township board concurred in a few years ago?
I don't know anything about that other than the township planner, when he investigated, indicated that there is another private conservation easement by the Southeast Michigan Land Conservancy that is still in place regardless of what we do with this particular easement. And this particular easement is simply between the township on behalf of the state and the Conant family. So as I say, even if this easement is terminated, the other easement with the Southeast Michigan Land Conservancy still is in place.
I guess part of my confusion with this is, does the original easement preclude the ability to farm the property? Because it's still open space at that point, or is farming considered doing something to the soil, and thus it's not just open space anymore?
Well, that's frankly, that didn't make sense to me either, because it seemed to me the whole purpose of this particular statute or act was to preserve farmland so that it could be farmed. But in checking, when Mr. Nanny checked with the Department of Agriculture, they in fact told him that this particular easement is unique in that it does, by its terms, prevent farming on the property. And copy the easement here. And furthermore, there's a section of the easement that it prohibits selling the property except for access or utility easement, and prohibits any improvements on the property. So it severely restricts, it does not allow use of the property for agricultural purposes at this point.
Did you just say that prohibits the sale of the property?
It prohibits the sale except under certain conditions. It says it shall be sold only for a scenic, access, or utility easement. So in other words, that's the only purposes under this particular agreement with the state that property will be allowed to be sold.
Another question, Ed, is this ultimately under the U.S. Department of Agriculture?
No, it's strictly Michigan Department. two parcels, I'm not sure what the total acreage is.
It's like 67.
Pardon?
I think it's like 67.
67 acres.
So, again, just to get back, so the Conant family has approached the township to release our agreement with them on it because of the restriction of farming. That's kind of how they put it to us. Now, if we say no, they still will appeal it, go to the state to get,
Correct.
to relieve that to where they could sell it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's been developed. That's where something can be developed. That's where the confusion is, I think. Can it be developed or can it not? And I hear it cannot be.
Well, right now it can't be because there's still the other conservation easement on the property.
Right, so it can be developed,
So
so
it
they're
can't
just
be
asking
developed.
if they end up selling it so that if they can advertise it to sell it, then you can farm this, at least that's one thing.
Correct.
That's why they really want us to,
Turn over the easement. Correct.
all right. Any other,
Like,
yes,
Did we purchase preservation rights on that property?
no,
No.
Barry, this was done 25 years ago when the Conants approached the board and wanted to do something with their property because they loved that property and they wanted to do something. This is all that was available that even was similar to somehow preserving it.
right,
And when I talked to the Conant family, they seemed to think that they had somebody who wanted to buy it to farm it.
right.
And that he had talked to the state and they said that all this board had to do was lift the farming up, that you would just say they would allow them to farm it, then he could sell it to a farmer, but, obviously there's been more research done.
Yeah, that's not,
And
well, that's not
things
what,
that-
Bruce had talked to me from Arizona, wherever he's
Uh-huh.
at, and he said no, and he said if you decide to vote no, then they'll appeal it, whatever, but so he's been
Yeah.
insinuating this is what that is saying to do.
Yeah, our choices here are,
It was farmed originally, it was farmed.
Yeah.
And the Southeast Michigan Conservancy has specific areas plotted out that will be farmed, because there are hedgerows that are protected, and they're okay with farming that land. There's a lot of land that's in a wetland now, because it hasn't been farmed in 25, 30 years, so that stuff that's to the west, you can see on the picture how it falls off, it's all wetland, it has all grown up, so that won't be farmed. You can actually see the fields that will be farmed, but they can't touch those hedgerows of trees. Those will all be protected. As far as what I talked to the Southeastern Conservancy.
Okay. Any other questions on it? Do we have a second on it? All right.
I'll second.
Mary Beth seconds. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion's passed. All right, and now we're down to the medical and dental benefits.
Mr. Supervisor, there's no motion here. We've been discussing this issue for probably 6 months in reference to one of our employees, Carol, who we've been discussing about how to get her a reasonable amount of dental insurance. And I just wanted to let everybody know that with the new medical plan that our agents have given us for October, starting in October 1st, that is compliant with Obamacare, it does include dental coverage. So instead of paying something separately, we can just, she'll just be getting her dental benefits and she'll also get vision because it's all part of the new medical plan. So it has been a while since we've been talking about it, but I just wanted everyone to know that that's what we're gonna do.
And that's basically the same premiums that were run. What were they before, do you remember?
Well, on the second page, it says what we were paying before.
Yeah.
We were paying $1,294 a month for this plan. It's an old plan, and it, as you know, old plans had like 0 deductibles and $10 copays. Now everything has to be compliant with Obamacare, and the one that is similar is this platinum plan, and it's only $1,025 a month, so it's basically saving $275 or so. And she gets dental, so I think that's a good way to go. Yeah. So I just wanted to let everybody know.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lindsay. All right, we're down to the drain assessment.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that Salem Township approve the resolution 2014-08-1202, authorizing the township to pay the property owner's share of the county drain assessment in the amount not to exceed $17,500. This motion really is to approve funding for the work that the county has done on the Nelson, Fleming Creek, and the Walker areas and townships, and these are is to remove brush and trees and stuff that would get in there that would cause flooding. Basically just to improve the drains of the 3 major drains that are in this township. They're constantly being worked on, and we have a complete list of all the different things that have been done on these drains, and this is to fund that work that has been accomplished.
All right, do we have a second on this?
Second.
TJ seconds. Any other discussion on this? This is something we contribute every year to?
Yes.
Every year. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion's passed. All right, down to public safety, hiring of firefighters. Mr. Trent.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that Salem Township approve the hiring of the following candidates to the position of Salem Township firefighter, subject to the successful completion of a physical examination, driving record and background investigation, criminal record check, and verification of references. Michael Bandy, Robert Miller, and Eric Mancha.
I'll second that.
Mr. Supervisor, the hiring committee that was charged by the board interviewed 5 candidates at the end of last month. We've been fortunate to have a plethora of candidates that have submitted applications that have met all of the initial criteria that you would look for in a firefighter, firefighter 1 and FFR training. And out of these 5 candidates that were interviewed by the hiring committee, these 3 we felt were the cream of the crop, and we're submitting them to the board for final approval today. And Chief Rockwell has forwarded their applications to you via email for your review.
Okay, any other questions on it?
And this will complete the open number of slots that we authorized earlier in the year.
Which is a total of
6 altogether.
6. How many do we have now total?
If we brought these in, we'd be right around 27, 100 the recommended from the panel or the review.
Okay.
But if I may, I think we were all impressed with the qualifications and we look for hours of response and capabilities and these 3 truly stood out as a benefit to the township. I think they'll be a great asset to our department and bringing in a lot of experience. In one case, a battalion chief retired from the city of Warren. So if we get these folks, I've got high hopes to help our department, help the
refresh my mind, are they coming in as lieutenants or are they just coming in as standard firefighters?
Just coming in as firefighters, that there was one that had made an application on it for lieutenants, and that was the battalion chief, but they said we'd have to come in as a firefighter, meet all the requirements, and then it would be a downline consideration as a potential.
Okay, any other discussion on this?
Is it one out of the three that is an EMT?
Actually, and thank you for bringing that up, there's one of the gentlemen is I don't know if he's a nurse, but he's a respiratory therapist for the University of Michigan for pediatrics. And having that resource on our fire department, when we have children that are injured, especially with respiratory issues, that is probably the toughest medical call you'll have. And he's a paramedic, and having that resource on there was going to be awesome. Really, I hope you never have to need it, but when you need it, children have as you're aware of, they have a very challenged airway. Having somebody with that expertise is going to be very helpful.
So two out of the three then, right? Yeah.
No, all three of them have
They all
medical
have,
first
like,
responder
EMT,
or higher. There was one candidate, and that, to be quite honest with you, that's why you got eliminated, was that he had passed his EMT class, but hadn't passed the National Registry. And we said, well, look, we got three candidates that passed and had everything and ready to hit the road, and that's why we couldn't recommend one of the candidates that he had not passed all of his licensure stuff.
Okay, anything else? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we've gone down to the reports, the clerk's revenue reports submitted, investment reports. And we're down to the fire department.
As always, I'll keep it brief, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. We had 35 calls for service in the month of July. The vast majority of these were medical. We did have 2 requests for station coverage. Northfield Fire Department got called on a fairly large, let me say, 3-alarm fire. And so we covered basically their township while they were out fighting the fire. We did that on 2 occasions. So we had 35 calls. Our response time was under 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And again, we're always striving to get that lower, but that's pretty good. That's pretty close to a department, as I would say before, that's stationed at the station. So small cars are making a difference. We have ordered the new command vehicle. That is a 2015 Ford Expedition. As per the board approval, it was way under the $45,000. It's 14 to 16 weeks delivery because it is a 2015 vehicle. It is built to state specifications. It's no bid. It's the best price that you can get. And we lumped on as a state entity, actually used the contract from the county of Macomb to get that price. We are registered under Michigan Deal now, so we can get the state discount, and we can share that with a number of different locations. And I got it for the whole township. There's a one-time fee of $180, but that's available for any township purchase, and I'll share that money with the clerk as well as anybody else on the board that does purchases. The tanker specification is done. It's been tweaked. I think we're finally had enough reviews and it's ready to go to the street. I provided the clerk a final copy of that in e-format, and I think it's 80 or 90 pages long. I also provided, I believe, 8 different firefighting apparatus manufacturers to go out for that RFQ. My suggestion would be we'd contact them and see if they'd like an electronic copy versus us sending them a 90-page document. I would also suggest that we would give them a minimum of 30 days to get the spec back to us. And all of that can be put into the RFQ mandated, and once that's set, I'm sure we'll get inquiries from across our region, if not across the country, for bid specs. So I'd like to see if we can get put on the website so anybody can download it. The more competition we get, the better off that we should get prices on. So, and again, we're no obligation to come back and we don't like any of the specs because they want this adjustment or the price is too high. No obligation for us to take it, and that's pretty well spelled out in the bid specification.
When do we plan to complete that? Get that?
Well, I'm hoping that very soon. I'm hoping Mr. Winsley can get some time to get those out into the street. Once we establish that date, we put it up on the website, we'll see a lot of inquiries come. And then, of course, we had the floods. Luckily, we weren't as impacted as they were on the east side. Plymouth Township did get significant issues, and actually, I had one response coming home with the car that I witnessed an accident right in front of me. So thankfully, we didn't get hammered as much, but if you go to the east, you can't get a freeway that's open. So please don't drive through any roads that you can't see the water through, because there's a lot of people that are paying huge towing fees to get their cars pulled out. So I said I'd keep it brief. Thank you for the time. Is there any questions? Board?
Just one quick question on the new command vehicle. What's the approximate ballpark price for that vehicle plus the anticipated cost for the lettering and so on and so forth?
The vehicle is going to cost us $32,165, and I think there's a little bit like $100 for delivery or something. I'm going to go out while we're waiting for the 14 to 16 week delivery to get 2 bids on the striping and the sirens and the light bars. So we're allocated $45,000. We're well underneath that. I would estimate around $5,000 by the time we get through with the striping, the light bars, the sirens, the radios rewired.
Now, do I get to drive it, or?
No.
Only in the
It's only a parade.
It is a
Maybe
red
put a
vehicle.
supervisor on the back or something like that.
I didn't say no.
I have a question.
Yes, Mary Beth.
Chief, you showed me last month how there's stuff from the old command vehicle that's gonna be retrofitted. Is that kind of in your ballpark too?
Yes,
for
so
that
we certainly
pricing?
wouldn't buy a new radio, the radios, but we're gonna have some fee to transfer the electronic parts into the vehicle to get it wired. So there'll be, the antennas and the radio mounts and stuff like that. So I'm estimating, but I will get a better number on that in the forthcoming weeks as I get estimates from the 2 local dealers from that. But I'm really happy about it. We've got some really good deals now. We've got heater block. It's an absolutely fabulous deal. You're looking at probably a $50,000 vehicle.
Weren't you also saying that, people who need to be kept warm and dry
Correct. So
in
that is a
emergency are gonna be able to go in there and,
correct. So a couple things with it is it's got 2 front seats, a second row bench, and a 3rd row. And then the whole row lays down, which gives me 96 inches. So if we needed to get a patient on a backboard that's off-road, because it is 4-wheel drive, we can put a person on a backboard inside there as well and get them out of the area. So that would be freeways or the new property that we bought. If someone got hurt way back there, we would be able to hopefully get back with this lighter vehicle and transport them out of the area. So that was all, that concept of what we were able to do with it.
Back to the tanker, the list of the manufacturers that you gave me, and then it says 2 newspapers, South Lyon and Ann Arbor News. Is there some sort of association that we would want to put this into? I mean, if we just put it in Ann Arbor News, we're not going to get much.
I checked with that, and my understanding with the people, the manufacturers, once you give it to one of the manufacturers, there's a lot of discussion, and we will get inquiries for folks. There is no, I could not find any trade place that lists, soliciting for a fire vehicle. I thought Ann Arbor would be a little bit larger audience, maybe Detroit News. I know we have some requirement, don't we have to publish it in some newspaper?
South Lyon Herald is all that we're required to do, but it.
Let me do a little bit more homework, and maybe Ed can help us as well, and I'll see if I can find something. And I'll continue to search. Again, my goal is to get it as wide and far out there as we can so that we can get the best price. So I'll continue to look for that, but I did do some research on that.
Okay. All set? Under Washtenaw County Law Enforcement, that's been submitted. And then board discussion. No discussion tonight? Unless you got something you want to discuss? And we're down to public comment.
Yes, a question for Jim. On this expedition you guys are gonna purchase, was it a similar one tested out with special tires? Was it raised up, an all-terrain vehicle in case you get back there and get stuck? Or
We're pretty limited in the options that we can get with it because it's a state contract. Tires and stuff like that are standard. We looked at trying to get some vinyl seats. We can't do that. That would be aftermarket stuff. We did add a few things like a heater block on there so we can plug it in the wintertime. We've got the off-road package, so it's got the skid plate underneath it. And we've got dual lights, you know, the strobe lights. But to modify that would be an aftermarket if we wanted to get it truly off-road with wheels and stuff like that.
raised up?
It'll have high ground clearance, but not super high. You'd have to put additional jacks.
Would you think about doing that in the future, once you get this thing purchased?
Let's take a look at it, see how it, when it comes in.
Try it out in the field, and
Right.
see if you have to raise it up, so.
Right.
Find out if there was any money left over to allocate it.
I don't expect to do a lot of off-roading with this. It would be occasional, but we'll look at that.
Okay.
And the warranty, I think the other question was the warranty. The warranty is now covered like we would with a normal purchase. I think it's 36,000 miles, 3 years, powertrain's 5. So that we would, I did check on that, and that was both for the Yukon and for the Expedition. That warranty now carries over. In the past it had.
Should we get an extended warranty?
They're not recommending it.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight, and appreciate it. If any of you have any, would like to talk to any of us, we're always welcome to get with us anytime. Thanks for coming.